Ellen McCauley at Pray It Off in Syracuse, New York. I'm talking about being an empath, or someone who it's a great quality to have, to care about others, but if you do too much, if you care about the world and others more than you even care about yourself, then you won't even have any energy or strength or health to be a help to anyone else. So one thing is, believe it or not, weight gain is one of the things our body's trying to do to help us. Because usually it means we're so stressed out and we're not eating the right things, and our body thinks that we're in danger or we need to put on the weight to help us because we're so stressed. Maybe they're going to go through like a famine or something. Our bodies don't know. Also, there's so many chemicals in processed food, and our body protects us by sending those chemicals to the fat cells. And remember, we can never get rid of those fat cells, but they can get smaller and smaller. And when they get smaller, the chemicals have to come out. And that's where you drink the 8-ounce glasses of water to flush those chemicals out of those fat cells. So what we need to do is still be kind, still be loving, and still take care of ourselves. Now, one of the things that says so many empaths forget to eat because they're so busy taking care of other people, and then when it's time to eat, they don't have any time to do something healthy, so they eat all the junk they can find. Well, I'll just have some cookies and some pizza and some leftover this and leftover that, because they don't plan out a healthy breakfast, lunch, and dinner because they're too busy helping everybody else. So we need to address the concerns about our weight first of all. Are we obese? Are we overweight? Are we slightly overweight? Are we just a teeny bit? Our doctor would say we're fine, but we feel we need to lose 10 pounds. Where are we on this spectrum? Are we realistic? Many of us have had children, we're older, we've been through menopause, even men go through older where they can't eat like they did when they were teenagers. We need to be kind to ourselves and realize I'm never going to weigh 135. I'm not going to weigh 135. So where do we need to be healthy? That's the realistic thing. And then we need to also think, do we have a medical condition? Do we have a thyroid condition? Are we taking steroids for pain or agony? Is there something making us gain weight? Our thyroid. If you haven't had a complete physical, are you low on vitamin D? You really need to do those things. And you need to address the emotional sabotages that are blocking us doing our health. There's a person in the group who we've talked many times, and she's dealing with her older parents, and that's exhausting. Anybody in this room that's had parents, and when my mother, 89, she was sharp, but her body was giving out, and it was very stressful, and we don't take as good a care of ourselves, especially if you've got children in the home, parents you're looking out for. It's even more important than to take a breather and say to your son, daughter, someone, hey, can you sit with mom? Can you help us? When my sister Kathy was at St. Camilla's for 18 years, we had a grid, and a different family member went every single day to see her because one person would get totally burned out. So Ellen would go on Monday, Wednesday, or May would go Tuesday, Thursday, and Bob would go on Saturdays, and Dennis would go on whatever. We had to have a grid because one person would get burned out. So we want to prevent ourselves from getting burned out. And we need to appreciate the body we have. I think I've told you before that I never want to get into that ageism thing where you run into someone and you're like, hey, how are you? How have you been? Well, my shoulder's killing me. My knee, I can barely bend it. And, I'm losing weight, but I'm losing it in my butt, so when I sit down, my butt falls asleep. And then they just talk about their aches and pains for like a half hour. Then they go, and what about the weather? I don't want to be a stereotypical older person who talks about their aches and pains and the weather. I will not do that. So, we need to take care of our bodies. Does that mean, take a shower, wash your hair, put on some makeup, maybe get an outfit that matches? I cannot tell you, this week alone, I said to Bob, oh no, we went to see Casting Crowns. It was so wonderful. I loved it more than life itself, but the lead girl singer, she's chunky, she had a tucked in top, and her gut was hanging out really, really bad. And I said to Bob, why isn't she covering that gut? And then I thought, well, maybe she owns a gut. See, that's one of my problems, maybe. Some of these younger people are like, I'm fat and I don't care, here's my gut, Whereas to me, I still am from the old school where if you cover your gut, you cover your butt, not everyone knows how fat you are. It's kind of deceptive. So it's like, it's either or. So anyway, but you got to show your body some love. You got to not call yourself fat, not call yourself any kinds of names. And also, don't absorb the energies that don't belong to us. Donald Trump's negative energy does not belong to me. President Biden falling does not belong to me. None of the politicians belong to me. The polar ice cap doesn't belong to me. I can try to do something on my local level to help people. Pray it up. I'm helping people here. But I can't take the whole world in my hands because only Jesus can do that. So, do empaths and weight issues always feed one another? And I love this story because it talks about laying on the bed and grabbing a coat hanger and putting it in your zipper and trying to zip up your pants. Well, when I was in college, we would lay on the bed and our girlfriends would stuff our guts in while we tried to pull up our zippers. Anyone ever had anyone shove your gut in when we were trying to pull up your zipper? I guess I'm not the only one. And then that was usually the first time you wore them after you washed them. And then you only washed them like once every 6 months, right? When you were in college. One time this girl was washing her sheets. I go, didn't you just wash your sheets? She goes, well, I wash them every week. I went, oh my gosh. She goes, well, how often do you wash yours? And I said to my roommate, how often do we wash our sheets? She goes, never. And one of our roommates, her sheets were so bad we called it sandy beaches. But I digress. The thing is, those were the days where people would hold in your gut. And weight issues are a combination of nature, nurture, your own metabolism, the way we look at the world. You can do something about it, but it's not easy. If anyone thinks losing weight and keeping it off is easy, it wouldn't be a multi-trillion-dollar industry where people are just making so much money saying, this is the magic bullet. No, this is the magic bullet. So I talked about being too busy to feed yourself, and that means too busy to feed yourself healthy. You don't have time to go to the store. You don't have time to plan a menu. You don't have time to do something healthy. And even somebody said, Ellen, you keep going out to lunch and dinner with everyone. It's food. You've got to eat to live. Restaurants have food. You can buy. One of my key things is every time I sit down, when I order, I say, can I have a to-go box right when my food comes? And it goes right in there, and I close the lid. You can get 2 or 3 meals out of every restaurant meal you have, and it can be very healthy too. Also, eating late. If you're taking care of other people, you're eating late and you're not eating healthy, and then you're laying down, you're not exercising. That's the trouble with not taking care of yourself. And then comfort food. We think we deserve it. I've been working so hard taking care of my parents. I've been working so hard with my kids. They've been driving me crazy. I deserve this ice cream. I deserve to go to Peter's Polar Parlor or whatever it's called. Also, ever notice that comfort food isn't cauliflower? It isn't broccoli. Comfort food, if I asked going around the table, macaroni and cheese, then ice cream, cookies, cakes, donuts. Very rarely is someone going to say, really, carrots are my comfort food. No one says that. Also, many people have body dysmorphia. And I hate to say it, but there's a couple people in this room that think they're much fatter than they are. Sometimes, like, I'll go by and I'll look at myself in the mirror and I'll think, oh, you're not as fat as you think you are. Ever do that? Look in the mirror and go, oh no, most of you looking in the mirror, you are as fat as I think. But I think the thing is, we think we're fatter than we are. We make too big a deal out of it. We need to be healthy, but we don't have to make it our, like, so many people just think, you got to have a good attitude about it. Also, we need to meditate, pray, eat vegetables, eat fruits, drink lots of water, limit our alcohol and sugar, and help others, but not at our own expense. I'm going to stop right there, Bob.